Hi, friends. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of TwFP Archives. I'm currently live streaming. Don't expect to get a lot of action on this stream. It's Friday night. I haven't promoted it at all. But what I do expect is for everybody to cheer for my glorious wonder. Is that what I expect? Maybe. I'm not sure. I forgot to check what I expect before I started. This is about being, doing, talking, and deciding. Let's talk. Let's not be or do or decide. Let's just talk. Seems really the best course of action. You know, there's a tree full of bees next door. And I've got some great footage of these bees. I'm currently live streaming all the action. That's right. This tree full of bees next door. When you walk up to it, and I go up there to film the bees, I got some great slow motion footage of the bees today, or yesterday, I guess it was. But the smell of honey is so strong and so palpable that it's crazy. It's like it just reeks of honey in this tree hole where the bees are. So I'm really thinking I want to get like a long stick. Just kind of poke it in there and see if I get some honey on the end of the stick. It's got to be just chock packed full of honey in there. It smells so honeyish. I wish I could record the smell for everybody to smell. It's quite strong, you know? I bet it's delicious honey too. I bet it is. The little Jack was being offered an intervention? Like there's something wrong with Jack? Who's the little? I did kind of come. I kind of mad him a little too hard, Jack, because Ethan, who's Ethan? Oh, wait. No, I'm thinking Joel Nathan Henry. Jack Oliver is the World Socionic Society guy. Well, you know, it's understandable that people gravitate towards socionics. Socionics is better than MBTI, for sure. And at first glance, it seems to have more or less gotten it right. But it didn't. Ethan is white. What does that have to do with it? Jack, Oliver, Aaron, and Ethan were debating the way Ethan behaves. Apparently, young Ethan 19 likes to shame, blame, and criticize people. Yeah, I mean, I can put these things away like nobody's business, Jeeves. I got a new kind today that's quite good. I may have had it before, but I don't remember liking it if I did. So I think it's the first time I ever got it. It's called Hellraiser. Very IPA tasting. It's great. It claims to be a non-alcoholic porter, but it seems like crossing a porter and an IPA. So I wonder if he had perhaps been someone or part of someone who has caused trouble for your channel. I said white because you mentioned Joel. Oh, if he has, I didn't notice. You know, I have a habit of not noticing people who think that they're in beefs with me. Nope, I don't find it triggering. I mean, it triggers satisfaction in my heart. That's for sure. I love the taste of beer. Um, it makes me feel satisfied. Like, it doesn't make me want to drink regular beer. It makes me like glad I don't have to drink regular beer. I mean, it's like I have a non-alcoholic beer problem, but it's just money related. It's like non-alcoholic beer is super expensive. It's the same price as like fancy boutique beer. I went and got 2 6-packs. I got a 6-pack of Klaus Holler, and I got a 6-pack of this Hellraiser Amber stuff. And I could easily put 6 of these away before bed. Easily. Probably will. I'm already on my second non-alcoholic beer. I had one class. This is my first Klaus Holler, but so the behavior that exists that you find interesting or what have you. It's like I remember when I was a lot more trolly when I was younger, playing computer games and generally anonymous anger safe from inside your car. I mean, I think that there's a deep-seated rage underlying variety of intuitives at the way that the world seems to be structured against them, purportedly rewarding the things that they have advantages in, intelligence, insight, whatever, but in reality rewarding SE. You know, life's always going to reward SE. The doing of things is the most directly powerful manner of being. Doing shit. I mean, I've spent some time of my life in that place of bitterness and or extreme political groupism. Like, my mom's in a home right now. Like when George W. Bush started the Iraq War, I was so angry about it. I was just so fucking furious about the whole thing. I was obsessed with, political rhetoric that was very much, find people to blame them, and use dismissive, cutting rhetoric about them and so forth. Of course, that's an earlier stage of development for me. I now understand political realities as desourced from human beings largely. Like, there's always a name on a face, like Trump, right? The political reality is more or less desourced from Trump in the sense that there's this kind of like he knows not what he does thing that I just have to accept that he knows not what he does, and the people who critique him know not what they do, and the people who support him know not what they do, and there aren't very many of us who do know what's going on. And what I mean by what's going on, I mean that understanding the political status quo is an expression of human frailty and fear in all of its awfulness, you know? My mom can show all her lady friends at the senior home her son's dope smoking videos. Unfortunately, my mom doesn't have that much presence or ability to engage with people or remember things or do stuff or say stuff or anything like that. Winston's mom says, by the time you reach a certain level of maturity, you realize everyone in authority around you also sits down to poo. I am finding people are much simpler than once I thought. Nature versus nurture. I mean, I would, I I like that sentiment for sure. I would offer as a fellow like purveyor of maturity or whatever. As I've gotten more mature, I've realized uh, just that most everybody's afraid. Most everybody's more afraid than me. I was like, do you want to chat with Jeeves and I? We'll dribble little notes on comments and channels like over on couches. That'd be great. Thanks. Thanks, Winston's mom. You're the best around. Nothing ever gonna send you down. Jeeves, she needed a comma after your name. That's why it was confusing to you. She's not including you in the comment making thing. She's saying she's gonna dribble notes and I can talk with you while she's doing that. That's what she's saying. The importance of commas. Commas are some really important things. See, I always thought people I respected were smarter than I was, and so I questioned myself first, and off I go to leave comments. For a long time, I thought other people had the answer. You know, like that someday I'll have the answer too, but there is an answer. Somebody or she's going to promote this thing. Jeebus, we just leave her alone, let her do her thing. um, it's like I always had this weird notion that somewhere there was like a group of fathers knows best type fathers who really know best and have the answers, and that they're in charge somewhere, right? It's like what I had as a kid, my thought as a kid, basically. I've never been a reckless kid. People mistake for self-control, but I realized some time ago fear keeps me from impulsivity, not responsibility. Well, I mean, and that's a really interesting change of frame to explore the topic from. It's like impulsivity. Is it in fact a conscious or intentional disregarding of unnecessarily limiting social mores? Or is it failing to look before you leap? Self-control, is it the lack of impulsivity? Is it self-control, looking before you leap, or is it In fact, hesitation, fear to the extent that by the time you're ready to pull the trigger, the moment's passed. You heard of Forrest Finn's treasure in the USA? No, I never heard of it. Forrest Finn's treasure. Makes me want to Google it though. Forrest Finn's treasure. The Finn treasure is said to be a cache of golden jewels, which Forrest Finn, an art dealer and author from Santa Fe, New Mexico, claims is hidden in the Rocky Mountains of the United States. Hmm. 4 people have died while searching for the treasure. Jeff Murphy, Pastor Paris Wallace, and Eric Ashby. Interesting. Ooh, I want to read your story based on me for sure. Where do I look? Check it out, Fred. Countess. Where do I check it out at? Where do I check it out? It is on your channel, then I can find it without a doubt. I think I can find it without a doubt. Let's see what I see when I pee in this ghee. So if I am to push this, for example, I go like, yeah. Okay. So I'm looking for Countess. What's your channel called, Countess? I know I subscribed to it, but I still can't find it. Obligated Introverts? Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I'm going to Google that with my YouTube search. That's the saying in the YouTube search with my Google search bar. Obligated Introverts. Obligated Introverts. Here it is. I found it. Hey, I found it. Eggshells in a Cake. A short story by Countess One. Part 3? Where's part 1? Why do I only get part 3? What about parts 1 and 2? I do want to listen to it right now, but can I just listen to it right now? Let's just listen to this real quick, okay, everybody? I want to hear it. I got to pee too, so I might as well. It's like I totally wanted to make a joke right now about ching chongy music. But I got scared. I was like, no, don't make a joke about that or you're going to get in trouble with YouTube. Any resembles the actual person is purely coincidence. No, you just told me it wasn't, Countess. Come on. You just told me it wasn't coincidental. Is it racist to call this ching chongy music? I think it might be a little racist. I'm pretty sure it's not hate speech though. What is all this? Are you going to read it out loud or what?
By the very same object, a curious thing to witness, the shuffling of conduct from ever-changing motives. A lonely man, plain and light, unlucky in love, friendship, and sight, but gifted was he to the art of cakes, summery, frozen, and featherweight. As the baker of unrivaled luxury, people of the world extolled his ability, but most impressive was his generosity, as most of his cakes were complimentary. Devotees traveled far across distant lands, others traveled across the seas. Gratefully they assembled to indulge eagerly, and they did passionately, and so it began a fellowship of streamed revelry. With the passage of time and some hidden reasons, confections worsened unexpectedly. From the unexplained but slow degradation, hardship soon followed lamentably. Unaccustomed to stress and anxiety, eggshells ached in the delicacies, and uncontemplated variety, denial and struggle persisted. All were told to remember his kindness, be reasonable enough to wait, be also inclined to forgiveness of easily made mistakes. Above all, be charitable with affection, as it was his truest and only remuneration. To a masked enemy, news travelled at the outset. Only the better half of the story of the baker's success appraised, antecedent to the controversy. Street talk of famous cakes inflamed forgotten animosity. At the height of her jealous rage, she schemed to create difficulty, hiding behind honeyed smiles and curtains, some advice and syrupy assuagement, but in the street with wretchedness, persuaded some to subscribe to her pettiness, that long after her work was completed, disgust and disapproval constructed. She never did return into the shadows. Why should she? She felt completely empowered. With the passage of time and some hidden reasons, eggshells were harder to tolerate. Accompanied by mixed reactions, consternation assailed him born out of hate. Devoid of worthwhile explanations, many watched silently. Surpassed the limits of their patience, others voiced their anger ruthlessly. Opponents by misguided intentions defend motley versions of dignity. Convinced of purposeful aggression, bared their detestable personality. It all culminated with mass hysteria, people flinging cake at each other. Onto the muddle they tumbled, some creamed and others smothered, until the last of the desserts were crumbled. Eventually, the cause of his misfortunes came to light. Overburdened and fatigued, his mistake was an oversight. Luckily, he was equipped with clever wits. His troubles had not dampened his spirits. Easily he found resolution, assured to avert reoccurrence, but the feeling of guilt was burdensome, that during a public announcement he made a tearful appeal for vindication, for compassion to fill his void, in place of goodwill, he thought, gone, completely destroyed. In times of trouble, as the saying goes, there is to be found a silver lining, for every connection, friendship, or love goes through a semblance of filtering. Some left because they could not trust him, abandoned him for the silliest of talks. An ugly man, they thought, should not make cakes. Indeed, half baked reasoning of this sort was found mostly in empty heads. But the value was in those who stayed, ashamed of their behavior and their foolish agendas. Through assistance and dedication, they assured him of their genuine affection. Including one unlikely person who said, "Not all mistakes are crimes." Remorseful was his foe, while biding her time, surely soon enough by the very same object we will know.
Looks like I'm running afoul of your copyright thing, Countess. I didn't get permission. See, you should have told me that at the beginning of the video. That is so good. That is so good. Wow. It's amazing. It's really great. I like the double rainbows at the end. Um, I'll have to watch that again. A lot of subtext going on. It made me cry. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really good. Really well written. Really NI. Great. I like that cello song that you played in there. It's really powerful. Makes me want to use classical music in my stuff. Yeah, good crying. It's evocative. It's no, I know. I saw the music credits. The writing's really good. It's not a short story. It's an epic poem. I mean, she's got yeah, she's actually highly intuitive, really good with language. Didn't make me sad. It didn't make me sad at all. Made me feel the weight of life. Which funny, it's like I came out here sort of to avoid feeling the weight of life because Dad was in there just giving me the ontological willies, talking about yeah, sure, I'll post the link to the video here. Um, Telling stories about Mom in Europe and how adventurous she was and how people won't remember her for that and how you know it's he's just talking about how like there's nobody left from that time period and stuff. Is just like, oh yeah, Dad, come on now, just quit punching me in the heart, please. uh you got to do the opposite of taming or ignoring an eye. You got to actually start seeking an eye. Like, go, okay, I am looking for the one part that sounds familiar, but not exactly like anything I can recall specifically. Uh, so, you got to get accustomed to taking the guitar, playing a note or two, singing a couple of melodies over it, and playing it back and listening and seeing which one is the most catchy or the best, and which one is too familiar or which one is too any. I feel very much like in the throes of it. I feel very much in the throes of it right now. Like I've I'm burdened by stuff I ought to be doing or I think I ought to be doing. I get some of it done. I washed the car today. I did something really freaking stupid. I had this bar of soap that I guess had like a little rock on it, and I scratched the top of my car a little bit. Fucking annoyed. Just and I remember the same thing. I remember every time I wash my car. Eric, why? Why do you wash your own car? It is so hard, so much work. I could just pay somebody $25 to take to the car wash. Oh, Jeeves. You know, the thing is, no matter how FI polar you are, well, Isaiah Rude knows he's FI polar, and that doesn't mean he's not, a crybaby. I'm a big crybaby. I'm FI polar and a big crybaby. That's because Isaiah Rude and I were both raised in families where we were actually loved properly. And so we naturally think that if we cry, we're going to be comforted or, if we not as a manipulative thing, but that it's okay to cry because if you do feel bad and you cry, you get comforted and taken seriously. You're not going to get mad or pied or whatever. You're the same as me, Isaiah. It's like you feel things strongly. Most of the time, you're kind of going around having fun and enjoying things, but when you're not, you can get mad, and when you're not mad, and you feel like something actually like, hey, hold on, wait, hold on. It's like that. This is the thing that EHBs have. They have these moments. It's the same moment as in Three Amigos. If you've ever seen the movie Three Amigos, when the Three Amigos realize that El Guapo and his men are using real bullets. That's the ENTP moment. Hold on a second. Somebody's using real bullets in their guns. And then it sort of dawns on us. Oh, wait, they're using real bullets in their guns? I thought we were all just playing here. This is a moment that every ENTP who's raised in a loving home experiences over and over again in life, frankly. It's like, hold on a second. You're not a good relationship partner. You're not nice to me. What? What kind of bizarre world is this where somebody's like not nice and fair and loving to me? How could that happen? Yeah. Hold on a second. You're using real bullets. Can Krishna Sarvapu's here. Oh my God. Can Krishna Sarmapagu. Wing Ding Fling Dumapu. That's not her name, Jeebus. Her name is not Wing Ding Fling Dumapu. It's Can Krishna Sarmapagu. You know that. Come on now. We are from the future, feelings detached. What do you mean? You get up and you go, what sounds fun? How much time do I have for fun? Well, it's like, I went to go run errands at some point yesterday, and I couldn't manage to successfully get past the tree with the bees in it, where I had to take some more some more videos of bees, of course. Now, I gotta say, I got a really great slow motion video of bees that I'm really excited about. I don't know. I'm gonna put it up as like free stock footage of bees, slow motion bees, something like that. All right, I'm gonna share with you guys the wondrous glory of these awesome slow motion bees. You gotta check this shit out. Now, about halfway through slow motion bees video here, about halfway through, the bees go out of focus. But for a solid half of it, you are talking about some serious slow motion bees. If you've ever wanted to see some serious slow motion bees, now's your chance. I'm just gonna figure that out later. Yeah, right. I'm just gonna. Right. Exactly. Or this is another EHP thing is okay. I got work at 6:30. I should really go run this errand down to the pharmacy on the way to work. Um, means I should leave here by 5:40 or so. And then that's not true. Look, here's the thing. The bees have recovered. The bees are back. Whatever hive collapse shit was going on, it's not a problem anymore. They're all over the place. Anyway, okay, so but I'm okay, well, look, it's 5:30 now. If I leave here at like 5:45, I can go to the pharmacy and I can get my pills and I can go to work and make it on time. It's 5:30 now, so I got 15 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll call Rachel right now and chat with her for a little bit. So I'm on the phone, we're on the Google Hangouts with Rachel, we're having a nice chat, we're laughing, whatever. And I'm in the conversation with Rachel. So you know what? Fuck it. I'll go get my pills either after work or tomorrow. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want to get off this conversation and go run that errand right now. So fine. I can stay on the phone for another, 15 minutes or so because I don't have to leave right now because I'm not going to run this errand. So then I stay on the phone for another 15 minutes. And then I say, okay, now I really got to go, Rachel. I got to go because I got to go to work. So then I get off the phone with Rachel and I start fucking around with something on the computer. At this point, it's starting to get like 6:10. And I'm like, you know what? Let me push this back half hour. So I text my client and say, can I start at 7 instead of 6:30? Maybe 7 to 9 instead of 6:30 to 8:30. And I assume that's going to be fine. And then I play on the computer for another 5 minutes and I go, you know what? If I leave now, I have time to go to the errand still. And so then I like, okay, fuck it. Just go, or just go. Just pull Palmer up and go. And so then I got up and I walked over to the car, get my shit in the car. And it's like 6:20, 6:22 or something. And I'm like, yeah, I got time. I can go do this. And I did, in fact, make it just in time to work and to go to get my prescription. So it's like this notion that I can squeeze in meow and meow and meow in between meow and meow is just nonsense, but it gets me every time. You score. What's the illogical fallacy of small numbers? Oh, well, yeah. Okay, granted that I have what is known as an availability heuristic, an availability bias, right? So just because I see a lot of bees around Southern California doesn't mean that in fact that's representative of the overall bee populations. However, I am not limiting my perception of seeing a lot of bees to the fact that there's one right next to my house. There was a lot of bees in Laverne as of last spring, and there's a lot of bees around here too. It's not just around my house. I've seen them all over the place. They take walks and shit, So now it is true that doesn't mean there's a lot of bees hundreds of miles from here, but it is true that Southern California seems to have a shit ton of bees right now. You live in farm country, you have a problem with bees not being? Well, that would be a problem in farm country. It's odd the way that Southern California is so environmentally just verdant. The thing is, because nobody in Southern California hunts any animals, everybody tries to not like run over them and stuff. And in fact, it's gotten so environmentally that people don't even take out beehives anymore. Um, it's, I mean, the amount of wildlife and shit around here is nuts. We got raccoons, we got squirrels, we got coyotes, we got possums, we got owls, we got rodents, mice and rats. We've got up in the mountains a little bit higher. We got mountain lions. We got bears around here too. There was a bear got hit on the freeway not that long ago. We got so many species of birds. I kind of want to play Audubon Society and start taking pictures of all the different species of birds around here. So it's interesting because it's definitely the case that we have bats. We've got lots of different kinds of bugs and stuff, obviously. And there's a lot of different kinds of plants around too, because Southern California's kind of got a climate where you can grow a lot of different things in it. So people grow plants from all over the world with all different kinds of flowers. And like, I really want to taste the honey from the bees next door because I bet it's delicious. It's not, a lot of times you get honey, it's from bees that, they're farming the honey. They only get certain kinds of flowers that they eat because the beekeeper takes the bees over to Joe's alfalfa field. Then you get bees that make honey out of nothing but alfalfa flowers. Well, that has a certain kind of taste to it, right? And if you get a beekeeper who's got his bees who gets only orange flowers, that's got a different kind of taste to it. Well, this kind of honey that these bees are getting, I'm making a mishmash of all different kinds of flowers. So I bet it tastes even more fusion. It's like fusion honey. It tastes more fusion, I bet, than even the most like naturally occurring honey would be in the natural environment because there's all these different plants that need to be watered to stay alive in Southern California that produce flowers, and it creates a unique mix of impossible foliage that the bees have access to make this sort of impossible honey. Orange blossom honey is considered a popular variety. I went honey tasting not a super long time ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. And I tried the different, they have honeys that are made, they're specific like that, this honey is made from bees who ate orange blossoms. This honey is made from bees that ate whatever. Canada seems like a great country. Nice weather for an introvert. Legal drugs, stupid but lovable people. Only issue with the terrible government. Yeah. Well. And the obsession with maple syrup. Everybody's hands are constantly sticky in Canada. Yeah. Well, it was all maple syrup. Anywho, I feel good right now. Like I'm clearing out of a certain part of my process and into a new segment of my process here. In some sense, I've got kind of a lot of work involved in this, but in another sense, it's just a matter of being a little bit more purposeful. Like I've got a couple of videos that I've made since, but I haven't uploaded. But I'm waiting to set up the platforms for the different kinds of videos, the channels. Trudeau, however he spelled, seems to bring up a lot of controversy. I often hear of Leafs. Well, Canada needs me as their president too, but it'll have to be after I'm president of the United States. They do drink. They're Canadians. I watched Strange Brew with Rachel not that long ago. Strange movie. If you've never seen it, you got to check it out. Fun movie. I liked it. I like the 1980s video game magic technology stuff. Like the spirit of her dead father is like trapped in the video game or something. And the 80s style. Like, what do they call that? When you have special effects graphics in movies. CGI is what it's called. CGI is so poor. Everybody drinks. I'm drinking and it's making me want to pour out my FE. Angantyr, I don't drink. So it's not true that everybody drinks. I mean, it is true that everybody drinks some sort of fluid, but not everybody drinks alcohol. I do drink non-alcohol. You know, some people say that alcohol loosens the tongue. I've always found that alcohol loosens the bung. The next morning I wake up and I'm just like, what was up there last night? That's all right, Angantyr. You can get damp with us. Your dampness is safe here. This is a warm and fetid environment. Perfect for your bacterial infection to grow. I dreamt about something this afternoon when I had my nap. Rachel and I napped together. Like we both napped, but we were just on Google Hangouts anyway. And I remember what I dreamed. I dreamed something. And then my dad was suddenly in here looking at me and saying something to me. Angantyr had a sex dream the other day. I had a vivid dream last night. All of my friends were smashing cake into my face, and I was having a fierce argument with someone, but I can't remember who or what about. If you can remember the first time you drank, your first drunk, then pay attention to that warning. I knew immediately I would have issues, and those issues were a family secret well kept. I think I may have drunk earlier. My first memory was drinking bourbon with my dad with his friends. I struggled to sleep that night, but otherwise a good night. I remember my first drinking, my first real drinking, which was 7th grade. I was at Thanksgiving dinner at my cousin's house in Arizona. And their kids have wine with Thanksgiving dinner. So I got my parents to agree to let me have a little bit. And I just kept, people weren't looking, just kept pouring myself more all the time. I was confident I was the drunkest person there. First time I ever drank. I mean, it's not the first time I ever had alcohol because when I was a little kid, if I got the hiccups, my dad would give me a little, like a cap full of brandy to make the hiccups go away. I remember when my mom caught him doing it one day and made him stop. Um, I got high in 8th grade for the first time, 14. My SI is pretty poor too. What type are you, Angantir? Are you ENTJ? That would explain your poor SI. The thing is, NI users often underestimate the significance of being an FI user, an SI user, regardless of where it's fourth, you know? NI users in general don't quite get how, for SI people, their experience is determinate. So, NI people kind of go, NI people like face palm, like, but the truth. And SI people go, well, my experience is yeah. Now, this can play out as super frustrating ways, like when you're dealing with an ISFJ who doesn't want to hear any truth, or dealing with an ESTJ who just is, you're just you're just throwing it at your pearls before swine, right? um, from my perspective, it's frustrating dealing with really undervalued NI, because when you try to tell those people the truth to try to get them to, you know, garner some benefits from something, you're barking up a deaf tree. But I know from my own experience, NI people can sometimes want to impose some universals on things where there are no universals. It's like it's a fun it's a fun area to have to reassure in, because it's easy for me to reassure. But like Rachel tends to look at the universals about things, and if she's feeling fretful about us, it's because of that. And I remind her, like, but Rachel, remember, like, all the time we spend together is fantastic. You know, like the conversation we're having today, it was just fantastic. We were laughing. It was a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and it's always like that, pretty much, with Rachel. It's less there's some sort of serious thing going down or whatever. We really enjoy chatting. We have a great time just talking to each other. Um, so to me, that's the determinant factor in the thing. It's like, my experience is this relationship's fantastic. And people will go, but objectively, you know, this is an incompatibility area for us by some objective metric. Okay, but we're not actually experiencing any incompatibility from that. Whether that, in theory, could be an incompatibility area or not seems quite thoroughly irrelevant. So, that's the NI quality is. And I get frustrated by people who get stuck in their ways. SI gets frustrated by people who don't respect the complexity of their experience, so to speak, or the nuance of their experience. Like, I can't exactly explain why I do it this way, but part of the reason is because my muscle memory is here. You know, I habitually do it this way. And so for me, there's the amount of cost to invest in doing it a different way means untraining myself and retraining myself, and I have to factor that into the equation. And when I look at the whole thing long term, is it better for me to fix the NI or go with the advantages of the SI? It's maybe a toss up, like I might do something in an NI dumb way, but if I'm practiced doing it that way, then it works for me better than the proper way to do it. Right. An NI tool with TE front always thinks there's a answer to every perceived TE frame. Like, how can I get this? Or how can I solve this? Well, not every most complex solvency issues don't reduce well to NI. They require a lot more interfacing and a lot less determination. The thing is, to value SE means to find yourself saying this stuff periodically. All right, well, let's just do it now and get it out of the way so we don't have to do it later. Or, I don't know, I'm just going to get up and get it done quickly so that we are able to move on and not worry about getting those things handled anymore. Or, ooh, if we attack this shit right now, we can get meow done. Like if you're saying those sentences out loud to yourself, then you're valuing SE. The thing is, when presented with that idea, most people will agree with it as, yeah, it's a good idea. Like, yeah, that's how you should treat SE. That's why I'm saying, do you find yourself saying those kind of sentences? Because if you do, then you're probably valuing SE on a fairly regular basis if you do it regularly. But if not, then you're not really valuing SE that much. The thing is, SE is about getting the shit done that you think you're supposed to get done. What does it mean to say you think you're supposed to get it done? It means you SI have it in your head that you've decided to do it. How much power you afford that SI decision, in other words, how much expectation you put into the reality based on your decision is going to be determined by your function stack. So I don't believe myself, basically, when I say that. So I don't actually expect that I'm going to do the thing. So I don't, but I have conflict, you know? It's complicated. There's conflict. Drink baby Blodry. Drink baby Blodry? I don't know what that is. This is non-alcoholic beer. Adrenochrome? I don't know what adrenochrome is. The problem with storing cocaine, of course, there are many, but one of the big problems is the drip. The numbness in the face and back of the throat makes you nauseous. It's just not really the best way to do it is to snort it. I really think you should probably boof it. I wish I could snort with my butthole. Too bad you can't. You can only push air out of your butthole. You can't snort with your butthole. Or does it make you lose your sense of smell slowly? Or am I making that up? I don't know. I mean, rubbing stuff with my fingers doesn't make me lose my sense of touch slowly. Mrs. Mom, are you processing your FE through an FI framework or processing your FI through an FE framework? I think that Winston's mom is processing. Well, they're both absolute values for her. She's an INTJ. That's the one spot where you have two absolute values. INTJs and ENTPs perhaps get along in part because we have the same two absolute values in the 3-7. It's just like, for me, the absolute value in the 3 is consistent with my dominant aspect, metaphysical, whereas my most absolute value in the 7 is consistent with my non-dominant aspects, physical. So polar is the one spot where you tend to where it goes kind of like against what you expect. In other words, I'm a metaphysical type, but I more prioritize the absolute valuing of the physical aspect of FI. And I think it's because since I understand it so poorly, I prioritize it in its native aspect where it's most simple. It's like the most kindergarten level FI. Jeebus is my son. I am Jeebus's dad. Jeebus isn't a gun. Jeebus is kind of bad. Um, Hi, Jeebus's dad. Yeah, this is me, host Eric. Thank you for coming in for the parent teacher conference. So, Jeebus, you know, he's a valued member of our classroom community. Oh, I see. Okay, good. Yeah, definitely keep him home if he's got coronavirus. Um, he's a valued member of the classroom community. He is, I would say, fun loving. He's a very social boy. He Well, now I'm going to get to that part. Does he behave good in class? Right. You know, no, not always. Not always. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. But he has a bit of a problem with some provocative language that can make me a little bit annoyed during class time sometimes. Um, he likes to say some rather rude things about my dating history, for example. Uh, Gets in fights with another boy named Hambone quite a bit, and I am constantly having to separate those two. I have them in opposite corners of the room, and somehow Jeebus will still manage to hit Hambone right between the eyes with a pink eraser. I don't know how he has such amazing aim. When I have him out there playing basketball, he can't shoot a basket to save his life, but if he's throwing something at Hambone, bam, right there, every time. He actually, Juice's dad, Mr. Ham here, sorry to tell you this, but one of his recent free write essays, I got a clear indication that he would probably like that too much. Just to let you know. I mean, it's up to you, obviously. He seems to have an odd obsession with it, actually. That's why he only wears Spanx to school. Spanx are a variety of pants that I don't know what makes them different. What are Spanx? Are they like a girdle? Kind of like a girdle? It is, right? No, Ham is Jeebus' dad. Hambone is unrelated to the Jeebus family. Would an INTJ be better at physical FE because it's the opposite aspect of NI? Um, by my thinking here tonight, I would say they would be better. They would value, not be better at so much, but value the metaphysical aspect of FE because it's the native aspect, which means they they're less bothered by somebody's rudeness in the moment and less bothered by managing the FE shit in the moment and more interested in making sure they have they enjoy the right kind of reputation across time, I guess. I heard from Countess, who heard from Dark Phoenix, who had a note from Rachel that she was pulling pigtails. Well, Winston's mom, I've talked to Jeebus about this before. I've explained to him that pigtails are not for pulling unless and until that special time arrives. And you only get to pull one set of pigtails in that capacity. And you gotta make sure she wants you to pull those pigtails. Spanx are just pantyhose with the feet cut off. Do pantyhose have feet on them? Oh yeah, they do. They do. They do. Okay. Um, they're like pajamas, kind of, huh? Huh, that's weird. They do have feet on them. Pantyhoses. Don't tell Jeeves, but the girls put bees in his pants and they left the honey jar quite open. Don't tell Jeeves, but the girls put bees in his pants with the honey jar quite open. With the honey jar left wide open. Don't tell Jeeves, but the girls put bees in his pants with the honey jar wide open. The girls are fond of him here. Hambone's father, he's a really nice guy. Am I Hambone's father? Who's Hambone's father? Ham is Jeebus's father. I guess I'll have to be Hambone's father. Are you the teacher of Hambone Korean? I mean, Korean War. This article up in the other window. It's about redeploying American tactical nuclear weapons in South Korea. It's a little light reading. They do always like the bad boys. It's true. What was I about to do? I was about to do something before I got distracted by Korea. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Jeepus is the bee's knees 23 skidoo. He's cooler than the cat's pajamas. How about you? Jeepus is the bee's knees and 23 skidoo. He's cooler than the cat's pajamas. How about you? I am not cooler than the cat's pajamas. I am less cool than the cat's pajamas by a substantial margin. But it is also the case that the cat's pajamas are unusually cool. So cool, in fact, it's rather unfair to compare yourself against them. Might as well compare yourself against the fawns. You'll never win that battle. Not in a million, trillion, billion, trillion, million years, which is a very long time. Was this my plan? Yes, this was my plan. Here it is. Here we go. Planning time. Planning time for everybody. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Planning time, planning time. Let's get more. Here we go. And stepping up, and good, and walkies. Correct, and let's go. Eric, that didn't work at all. That was a big failure. There. That's better. Haka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka. Karate. Haka-chaka. Chaka-chaka-chaka. Haka-chaka. Karate. Haka-chaka. Haka-chaka. Karata. Papata. Karata-tata. Karate girls gotcha. Punch and kick too. Karate. Chop a board right into. Karate. Chop a brick with her head. Drop a thick, big piece of lead. Karate girl, what sweet mean? Knock me to the mat. Take me down, bend me, and kick me, knee me, stab me in the nose. Karate girl, those pigtails, and that fist to cuff bust. Buff. Karate. You took Marlon Brando, karate. You stuffed him in a hole, a shoe, a box, a true blue kind of tree that you hollowed out. World's trying escaping. Gosh, dash, and trash, and dog. Fire don't burn a little. World's trying escaping. Gosh, dash, trash, and dog. Fire don't burn a little. World's trying escaping. Dash, 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 and dog. Fire don't burn a little. And we world's trying escaping. Dash, 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 and dog. Fire don't burn a little. World's trying escaping. Dash, Karate Girl. I thought it's called Karate Girl. It's about a karate girl who uses punches and kicks and fightings and wears a gi. Spelled Ghieeieegh. Gi. Where can you listen to Karate Girl? Well, I'd have to. Let me see. Hold on a second there, Mister. Oh, my kitty meows. My kitty meows is so wonderful. I'm constantly being reastonished by your beauty again for the first time forever. No. That was wrong, Eric. Put a 001 like that. Now you're cooking with gas. I think Karate Girl, the several songs that I worked on the last few days here, I think this is the one that I like best. I think it's the one that's going to stick, so to speak. Open up this. Excuse me. I am so sorry. That was so rude of me. That was unacceptable. That won't ever happen again. Yeah. 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 Karate. I think this is EQ fine. Let me look at the spectrum. Yeah, EQ's fine. I don't really think it needs any more compression, but just a C hair's worth, as they say. Let me take this off, maybe. Yeah, she sounds like here. Haka-chika-chika-chika-chika. Karate. Haka-chaka. Chaka-chaka-chaka. Haka-chaka. Karate. Haka-chaka. That's fine. Export. Mastered. And push this. I gotta go over here. I gotta push this thing here. Go to the old Google Drive. It's an application I use on my computer. It's pretty important. Well, like a lot of things. Like absolutely everything I ever think about. It's hugely important. What could be more important than this? Nothing is ever as important as this. This is the single most important thing that you ever have seen. Share. Get shareable link. Okay. I've gotten the shareable link. Now, get shareable link again. Copy the clipboard. Good. Here you go. Okay. Haka chaka 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 chaka. Yeah, something like that. Sean Ryan Band makes beautiful music and it looks a bit like Horseman Boy when he turns and he bows to Rossetto. What if you riff to his music until you can my stuff? I should check out his shit. What is it, like piano jazz or something? Like snake jazz? I think I offended him a little bit by forgetting one time that he was that music guy. And then it's like, oh shit, that's right, you're that music guy. It was an accident. I didn't try to forget. You know, I don't usually try to forget. I don't try to forget. You know, I had an interesting conversation about watermelons earlier. Watermelons. You want my honest opinion? You want to know the truth? What I think I actually think about watermelons? You want to know what I really feel? You want to know what I really think? I mean, no holds barred, not hold back, just spill it out, right? How are you? Right out about that? Not a big fan. They don't taste like much. Okay, like how many other kinds of melons, guaranteed, are better than watermelon? At least two: the cantaloupe and the honeydew. At least those are better than watermelon, for sure, for sure. Now, let's discuss other things that are better than watermelon. Pineapple, better than watermelon. Nobody's going to dispute that. Strawberry's better than watermelon. Like, what's not better than watermelon? Blue melon? Juicy. So it's a glass of water. Watermelon is juicy like a glass of water is juicy. It's not juice. This is water. So it's called a watermelon. Okay? It just has water in it. What does a honeydew have in it? Honeydew. It's so much better than water. What does a cantaloupe have in it? It's like cantaloupe, whatever that is. So remove the watermelon juice. Thanks, Angantier. Angantier knows. Angantier knows. Too many seeds for too little flavor and too much watery waters. Do I like kiwi fruits? I do like kiwi fruits. They're good, but I don't go ape shit over them or anything. Like maybe the best fruit of all, the greatest fruit, makes you just go. This is the greatest fruit of all time. Fresh Hawaii, ripened on the plant. Pineapple. Ooh, to the law. To the law. You want to try some fruit? Fantastico. You gotta try some fresh Hawaii pineapple. Mangosteen. A mangosteen? What's a mangosteen? Honeydews have honeydew in them. It's a good point, Gostras. It's a very good point. Passion fruit is not good. You don't want to eat passion fruit. It does look like frog legs. They've got the craziest flowers, though. If I could only do one fruit, if I could only have one fruit for the rest of my life, what would that fruit be? Probably cantaloupe. Passion fruit tastes nice when it has plenty of sugar in it. I'm talking about, okay, which fruit would I want to be if I wanted to taste delicious? Now, if I just wanted to avoid being eaten, then obviously I wouldn't be a delicious fruit. It'd be a gross fruit. Like, what fruits don't ever get eaten? Like a date palm date. You know, nobody eats that. I used to love cherries until I found a live worm in it. So I only eat strawberries now. Catch up the tree, call the fire department. They'll rush right over with a big old bag of fries. You know, the fire department will not get your cat out of the tree if you call and ask them to do that. Let the myth. And do not come over with their ladder and get the cat down. Like, sorry, we don't do that. I used to drink passion fruit flavored with Mountain Dew. Well, we used to go out deep sea fishing with fish. Men would deworm the fish. We'd sit there with sushi. And we brought our own ginger dish. Pineapple Fanta is awesome. Female wasps like that sentence. So not actually. Candace isn't actually saying pineapple Fanta is awesome. I see now. Someone said pineapple Fanta is awesome. That's even further removed. I I am theoretically a fan of deep sea fishing, except for the fact that 5 seconds on a boat causes me to want to hurl forever everything that ever was out of my body. Ever peel a grape? No. It would be a challenging dish to make. Stuffed grape peels. Like, you peel your grape and then you stuff it like a bell pepper. But you have to be very, very careful because obviously the grape peel is a little bit flimsy. Ghost Rider, hello. How are you? I want you to please make me some stuffed grape peels, please. Make me a large bowl of stuffed grape peels. It's very labor intensive, but you'll get it eventually, I'm sure. Well, that's the thing. You don't stuff the grapes. You just use their peels to make grape sausages. It's basically like how you do with sausages. You use the intestines to put the meat into. Well, with grape sausages, you take the peel off, then you smush up the grape, and you put it back into the peel. This seems an awfully labor-intensive way to give people grapes. Now listen, imagine some stupid rich lady, talking to the caterer and saying, "No, listen, we want the guests to have grapes, but I don't want any ordinary grapes. I want you to do stuffed grapes, okay? It's basically like the deviled egg of grapes." Talk about a ridiculous idea, right? Deviled eggs. you boil an egg, you cut it in half, and then you scoop out the insides of it. You mush it all up, and then you put it back inside of it. What a ridiculous concept. So much work. Soft grape salad would take weeks to make. Okay, but I mean, why don't you just put a little bit of that shit on your hard-boiled egg? You know? I tell you what, you give me a little bowl of paprika mustard and salt and pepper mixture, then you make deviled eggs, and I'll have my hard-boiled eggs. Like, just dip it into that, okay? It's like there's this weird. It also sort of runs afoul of my basic SI concept that you shouldn't unnecessarily mess with your food. Like eggs are kind of gross to start off with. But yeah, that's the only thing that separates fancy food from non-fancy food is unnecessary bits of labor. So like if you like have a piece of bread, if you want to make it fancy, you scoop out the middle parts of it, form it into little guys, and have them riding on top of the bread. It's like you're really in a fancy restaurant. Oh my god, there's little bread guys on top of the breads. It's like the time we went to the Maytime Museum of Miniatures. This is so adorable. Et voila, the lobster bisque with the miniature lobster seafaring fishermen in the little miniature boat made out of crackers. I want to open a fancy restaurant that basically serves food in diorama form, you know? Oh my god, they made my sandwich look like a classroom. That's amazing. Wow. That like they made the teacher a ham. Thank you all for being here. This is the thing that I really enjoy in life is like chilling and making jokes and stuff. You know, this is what made my conversation with Rachel so good earlier. Was we were just laughing and laughing. You know, making jokes about New Yorkers, watermelon, and Los Angeles. It's a lot easier to do a New York accent than it is California accent. There are a few different variants of California. Most New York accent, if you're going to go to it, you're going to go to the Italian New Yorker, you know? No idea. Judy, get over here. You got to try some of this watermelon. It's so good. You know? Why do they do that to breads? It makes it fancy. Countess, I'm explaining this to you. Look, you can do that to just about anything. Like, what I want to do is, for example, next time I serve somebody a steak, in order to make it fancy, what I'm going to do is I'll cut a slit in the inside, kind of the middle of it there, and then I'll go in there and sort of surgically remove some of the inside of it, scoop it out, basically. I know what I'll have to do. Get a thick steak, and I'll scoop out I'll cut a big cylinder, pull it all out, right? But then I'll put a cap back so it looks, right? I'll grind up the meat that I cut out of there, then I'll mix it with a little bit of sour cream and some stuff, and I'll squirt it back into the middle of the steak. That's how you make it fancy. It can be the stage in a diorama setup of a band. It'd be like the Pixies playing live at the Rose Steak, and I can make the members of the band out of asparagus. Now, California accents. So there's a couple of different things that people in California do. One thing that a lot of like girls do, I guess, is like they talk like this, and they tend to ask everything like a question. Even if it's not even a question, they just kind of like everything goes up at the end. It's like I don't know where you even got that thing, but I was like, you better get that thing away from me, you know? Because it's like, that's her aunt, draw the line. There's that kind of California accent. But there's also, like, more Northern California being like, but Eric, though. Yeah, it's like, Eric, though, listen, I've got artichoke back at my room. Okay, right. So you're gonna artichoke. I'm just saying. Okay, cool. This is actually referencing a conversation I had bore witness to, where this one guy in Santa Cruz was trying to get this other guy from across the hall in the dorm, like the dorm went in a square. It was like on the other side of the square. Anyway, he's like, Andrew, though, Andrew, come here. And Andrew's like, what? Just come here, though. But what, though? Just come here. What? I've got something to show you. What is it? It's an artichoke. But, yeah, you gotta come see it. But why, though? It's like, I was like in Mark's room when he was having this conversation, like yelling out his door. That was literally how the conversation went. Eventually, Andrew did come over to look at the artichoke. Can you chat amongst yourselves, please? Thanks. See, I'm really struck by this notion of this whole school of foods you could do that, like you take a regular food like a McDouble, for example, from McDonald's, right? And you open it up in half, and then you scoop out all of the insides of it, but you leave it so that it looks like a regular McDouble, right? And then you blend all the parts that you scoop out, and you put it back in the middle. you serve them like a sprig of parsley on it or something. And you say, you know, gourmet McDouble. Oh shit! Over here, we put the little aioli in there. You mean mayonnaise? Definitely the newest restaurant in my empire of restaurants. Scooped out foods. Can I get some potato chips, please? Why are these potato chips all mushy in the middle? Welcome to Scooped Out Foods. We get very precision instruments to literally scoop the middle out of potato chips, puree it, and put it back into them. That's why we only have like Pringles. We don't have little thin chips. I couldn't believe it. I went to Scooped Out Foods the other day and tried their new Scooped Out salad. It is amazing. Somehow they get very thick pieces of lettuce and scoop out the inside. Here's Scooped Out Foods. Our blenders are running 24/7 to make all your foods extra fancy. Their tagline is not just for Thanksgiving anymore. The tagline of Scooped Out Foods, not just for Thanksgiving anymore, because Scooped Out Foods originally became famous for their scooped out turkey Thanksgiving dinner, which is a turkey that's stuffed with blended turkey instead of stuffing. But it's got a little bit of aioli in it too. A little aioli and a little margarine. No, marjoram. Not margarine. So anyway. Mandy and Tiffany are fun. I enjoyed making that video about Mandy and Tiffany last night. Yes, they take your Thanksgiving turkey. Okay, they cut all the raw meat off of it. They cut half of the raw meat off of the underside of the other half of the raw meat. They blend that and stuff it inside the turkey and put the half of the meat back onto the turkey and then bake it. It's, it's like, can I have some of the stuffing? Meaty. Okay. Oh. I am in some kind of a silly mood tonight, I guess. Somebody must have given me those silly pills. Um, the choke. Pull a leaf off the choke. If you're really cool, you call it the choke. I think the reason why there was artichoke in there is it happens to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's the artichoke that Santa Cruz near was known as the artichoke capital of the world. Um, it's like the only place in the U.S. that produces like 95% of all artichokes or something. Artichoke capital of the world. Yeah, Castroville, right. Um, right, Castroville Artichoke Festival is a food festival held annually in Castroville, a town in Monterey County of the U.S. state of California, which is the county just south of Santa Cruz County and very close. So that's why we had artichokes, or why he had artichokes. I wonder how many, how popular, how many artichokes get eaten every year? Like, are artichokes popular in the U.S.? Today, most artichokes are in France, from France, Italy, and Spain, while California produces nearly 100% of the United States crop. 100% of all artichokes grown commercially in the United States are grown in California. What do you know? The globe artichoke, also known as French artichoke or green artichoke, is a variety of thistle cultivated as a food. The edible portion of the plant consists of the flower buds before the flowers come into bloom. The budding artichoke flower head is a cluster of many budding small flowers. Once the buds bloom, the structure changes to a coarse, barely edible form. Another variety of the same species is the cardoon. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I am so thoroughly interested by this interestingness. 80% of the U.S. crop is grown in Monterey County in Castroville, which proclaims itself the artichoke center of the world. Hmm. Good, good. But actually, it's not really the artichoke center of the world because even if it's responsible for 80% of all the United States sales, the United States only produces 41,000 tons of artichokes, and that's below Morocco, China, Algeria, Argentina, Peru, Egypt, Spain, and Italy. All produce more artichokes than the U.S. So I think that their slogan, "Artichoke Center of the World," is a little bit reaching. I don't really think that it's justified. Right. It is hard to get them right. Yep. If you get it just right, they're delicious though. But I I haven't had artichokes in a long time. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.